Alright, guys. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let's get straight into this. I stayed up until 1:30 in the morning watching this docuseries last night about Vince McMahon. I said, mental note, because I can't take physical notes for obvious reasons. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, or Vince McMahon Jr., as he doesn't like to be called, or, uh, basically when he was young, he didn't know his dad. We still don't know why to this day. He grew up with a stepfather that would physically abuse him. And in a article, he did with Playboy magazine back in 2001, he made it seem like his mother assaulted him in ways that a parent shouldn't touch their kids. I'll leave it at that. That's how he made it seem in the article. I'm not making it up. You can go back and look up the article yourself. Playboy magazine, Vince McMahon, yada yada yada. In the same article, he states the only regret he had was that he didn't unalive his stepfather, who passed away when Vince was younger. I'm not sure what age, I'll just say younger so I don't get sued. How about that? Let's try not to get sued and keep this video monetized. Now, here's an interesting fact that I didn't know. Vince got married at the age of 17. Now, you might be saying, what's so interesting about that? Well, his wife is 3 years younger than he is, which means he married her when she was 14. Allegedly. Do I have to say allegedly? I just say allegedly to be safe. Allegedly. They went on to have 2 kids Shane and Stephanie Mcmahon. And I somehow still married to this day through all the BS because of Vince's stupidity. And I'm not just talking about the lawsuit he has. No, I'm talking about the lawsuits he's had in the past and trial you went through that I talk about. No, so let's be fair. He said he always wanted to be in the wrestling business. But while his father was still in charge of the wrestling business, he was doing things like marketing the Evil Knievel sideshows. Let's just call it what it is, Evil Knievel with a sideshow attraction, whatever you want to call it. He was helping do that because his father did not trust him with the company, even though he had done other things with the company, such as broadcasting, announcing, and uh, other things other than being a physical part of the show that came later on in life. When I was a child, anyway, in 1980, in the early 80s, he finally bought out his father and bought all the competing territories to be easy. It was easy for him to do because the other territories were dying out because of mismanagement. Oh, mama, didn't mean to do that. Let me get out of that. The Crockett's in the South, Mid-South, and Texas, Stampede Wrestling in Canada. Shout out to the Hart family. Mid-South or I think it was the Von Erich family running Mid-South. I could be wrong. Where is Nicholas Jacobs when I need him? Shout out to Nick. Probably physical. Hopefully he sees the replay of this and tells me where I'm wrong in the comment section after this goes live. Now, one thing the documentary didn't mention is before you bought World Championship Wrestling in 2000/2001, 2001, he had already bought it in the late 80s. I believe it was 80, 85, 86, something around that time period. He had bought World Championship Wrestling because I believe it was the Crockett's had mismanaged their money, I believe. Correct me in the comment section once this video goes live. Man, the podcast I listened to, Salamanca sounds off, and both Jim Cornette podcasts, the Drive Through with Jim Cornette and the Jim Cornette Experience would be upset with me if they could hear my rambling now, but anyway, nothing I can do about that now. Let's get to the juicy part. The lawsuits and the trial. The first lawsuit he had was with Rita Chang, I believe, a former WWE or WWF at that point, now WWE referee slash performer who alleges to this day that in the backseat of a limousine, town car, whatever you want to call it, Vince McMahon forced his way with her and then fired her. She did go on to Gerardo Rivera to state these claims. Not the best look, because it's Gerardo Rivera, who wasn't known for good news, more of a gossip personality in my opinion. That's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a guy in a wheelchair. Then they also brought up that he brought back Hulk Hogan after his father fired Hulk Hogan for going to do Rocky 3 and leaving the wrestling business for a while to shoot Rocky 3. After which he went to back to the AWA, which was another wrestling organization, only to have Vince McMahon bring him back so he could win the championship from Andre the Giant at the third WrestleMania ever, or WrestleMania 3, whichever you prefer. Three people did not come out of this documentary looking good. Obviously, Vince McMahon. The second is his longtime right-hand man, Bruce Pritchard. And the third person that did not come out of this looking good is Hulk Hogan. Not that Hulk Hogan ever looks good coming out of anything. I'm just saying. He's more Hulk Hogan, aka Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, has more bad publicity, if not more, than Vince McMahon. So, birds of a feather stick together. Birds of a feather stick together. Hopefully, I got that phrase right. Sorry about my dogs going crazy in the background. Shout out to DMX. Rest in peace to a great. But anyway, they had Teddy Atlas talking and is it's is it Tony Atlas or Teddy Atlas, whatever. That's kind of the Rock's father, Rocky Soulman Johnson. He was interviewed for this elsewhere. Members of the McMahon family and other performers such as The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart as well. They brought up everything under the sun when it comes to Vince McMahon. The steroid trial in the mid-90s. The fact that he had to be pushed to go edgier by Shawn Michaels and Triple H. What the documentary made it sound like because he was WWF / he was getting beaten down by WCW in the ratings in the mid-90s. Let me go off camera. Then they talked about, of course, the Owen Hart tragedy and whether that should have happened. They also spoke about the Montreal screw job where Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels basically stole the WWF/E title from Bret Hart because he didn't want to lose to Shawn Michaels because him and Shawn had a heated rivalry in the early and mid 90s, and still did until 2010, where they finally buried the hatchet. Thank God for that. Vince McMahon said some suspect things during this docuseries, including the fact where the interviewer asked him, I take it Vince thought it was the middle of the break and they were done shooting because he had just answered a question, but he should know that the cameras always keep rolling. And I don't mean always keep it rolling, Vince. So he had answered a question about, I believe it was the Sable issue, and then after he finished that, I guess he thought they were done taping or had taken a break. Because he has a smile on his face. And the interviewer says, what are you thinking about? And he said, hold on. Hold on, let me, let me pause that. I already hit the like button. On my own stream, definitely. Make sure you hit the like button, people. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. It allegedly helps the channel. Allegedly. It's supposed to help the channel, but it really doesn't. But nothing I can do about that now. Anyway, back to the topic he said, I'm thinking of fun things included. That include sex. He also admits that he came up with an idea to where when his daughter was pregnant with her first child, that he pitched a storyline where he would be the father of his own daughter's child. That's how sick this man is in the head. I don't have to say allegedly about that. He said it himself. He also said that he wanted to do his own daughter's wedding on pay-per-view, and she was the one that had to say no to the idea. Thank God for that. Now, let's go back to another scandal that Vince McMahon had. The ring boy scandal. God give me strength as I talk about this without getting demonetized. There was a timekeeper, a ring announcer, if you will. who brought young boys with him to help around the ring during intermission and whatnot. That was fine back in the 80s and early 90s. These days, not so much, thank God for that. Now these boys claim that they were touched by some of the wrestlers. I can't remember two of their names, but one is infamous as Pat Patterson, the booker who was the booker of WWE at the time. What is a booker? A booker is the person who comes up with the ideas for matches. That is a booker in wrestling terms. Now, fired our three people, including Pat Patterson, and the issue was resolved. Somehow, I can't remember how because I fell asleep during this episode. I'm not gonna lie. I've never told a lie, and I don't plan on telling a lie. Unlike other content creators, no shade, just not hating, just stating, and not saying any names. But Pat Patterson was fired only to be brought back, I believe, 6 months later. So not a strict punishment for Pat Patterson. To this day, Vince claims that they were targeting gay men in wrestling, and that's why they brought up Pat Patterson's name. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, and it's none of my business to figure out. Thank God for that. Now let's get to the steroid scandal. The steroid scandal in the mid-90s. There was this doctor from out of Pennsylvania that was by the Pennsylvania State Athletic Board. I can't pronounce his name. Forgive me for that. But I don't want to butcher his name, and I can't pronounce it, so I'm not even gonna try. But he would bring it around prescription pills and steroids around anabolic steroids around the locker room, and performers would take these steroids and get more muscles, including human growth hormone, allegedly. Allegedly. Do I have to say allegedly? I'm not sure. I'm just doing it just to be safe. Not the stuff that got arrested and charged by the federal government, and he sang like a canary immediately. He named brought up Vince McMahon, and the federal government went straight at Vince McMahon's head, tried to put him in jail and all this stuff, saying he was the distributor of steroids, yada yada yada, you know the rest. If you don't, look it up. I know he was forcing these performers to take steroids they even got. Hulk Hogan, understand, they thought Hulk Hogan would rat out his former boss, and they asked him, did Vince McMahon make you take steroids? And he said, no. Which is in my opinion, the honest answer. He did not put a gun to these performers' hands and say, take steroids or you're fired. Was it highly, what's the word I'm thinking? Was it highly motivated for these performers to get in better physical shape with anabolic steroids? Yes. Could they have done it another way? A legal way? A proper way? Yes. These are most, some of them? Yes. Most of them? No. They went with the steroids, and most of them are now no longer with us because they went with steroids over their own health, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Should Vince McMahon take some blame? Absolutely. Is he the reason they're dead? No. Again, just my opinion, just my opinion, just my opinion. Now let's talk about the stuff with this family and cheating on air with talents. Let's start with Lena Lesnar, aka Sable. How they came up with that name, I still don't know. God give me strength when it comes to talking about Sable. Not talented, Was she attractive if you like fake breasts? Yes, she was attractive, but she wasn't my cup of tea, not even as a adolescent child was she my cup of tea. In the late 90s, she went on to sue WWE and Vince McMahon for sexual harassment, so there's a pattern here. First to read a child, now stable. There's a pattern here. A a pattern. Not hating, just dating. No, that lawsuit was settled out of court. Rita Charlton never got any money and charges were never pressed against Vince McMahon at the time for that situation. Never charged with the Rita Charlton situation. Just remember that. And wasn't charged with the Sabre situation either. Now let's talk about the family thing. The family. Shane and Stephanie became storyline characters when I was a young child in the late 90s. Shane was first in, I believe, 97, even though he had been a referee in the early 90s and been on screen during a sorry about that. During a WrestleMania or two in the late 80s, his character, who he went under his real name, he didn't start popping around as the Boss's son until I believe 96/97 with the whole Austin, Tyson, Shawn Michaels, that whole storyline that they had where Mike Tyson was the special guest enforcer at WrestleMania. I believe it was 16 or 15, something like that. where Stone Cold won his first WWF/E championship. The Austin era has begun, to quote longtime WWE announcer and head of talent relations Jim Ross. JR, the original JR. Hopefully I will become the next JR, but that's a hope for another video. For another video. A discussion for another video, I should say, but anyway. Anyway, that was the start of the turnaround for WWE with the ratings because WCW beat them in the ratings. Say it with me, everyone. 83 weeks. We know Eric Bischoff, that's the only thing you ever say is, when I was running WCW, we beat WWE for 83 weeks. Well, you had a hot angle. You had celebrities and great athletes such as Dennis Rodman popping in. I'm not saying I could have done it. I give you credit for doing it, but that's the only thing you ever gloat about. That and your obsession with Blue Chew. For those of you who are over 18, look up what Blue Chew is. For those of you who aren't over 18, don't look it up. If you're not over 18, why are you even watching these videos of mine? Go read a book. Because I don't want emails or tweets from parents. One day, if I ever blow up and make it big. But anyway, 83 weeks, and WWE went Attitude, which was basically ripping off Extreme Championship Wrestling and Paul Heyman, who got his start with Vince McMahon Sr. as a photographer. So, to repay the father, he helped the son get talent to WWE, such as Taz, Tommy Dreamer, the, the Dudley Boys, and after they were done in WCW, talents like Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Chris Benoit. Now let's get to Chris Benoit. And I know debacle in 2007, I believe, late 2007. The WWE was in the middle of a storyline angle where someone had blown up Vince McMahon's limo, and Vince McMahon had allegedly died in that limo explosion. Now, the night that the big reveal of who 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 blew up Mr. McMahon's limousine was supposed to occur, a tragedy was found out that WWE performer Chris Benoit was found dead with his wife and their son, and instead of doing a show that night, they turned it into a tribute show, not knowing what the police would find out while the tribute show was going on. While the tribute show was going on, the police were able to figure out that Chris Benoit murdered his wife, murdered his son, and taken his own life. After doing the first two things, unfortunately. The next night, Vince McMahon went on air and said, "We're basically deleting Chris Benoit from our history. The shows will go on, but they will be tribute shows for Nancy and Daniel Benoit, the wife and the child, aka the two victims of that situation." This is when a former wrestler, performer, whatever you want to call him, named Chris Nowinski, a Harvard graduate, came to be known as the guy who made CTE a well-known thing. He talked to Chris Benoit's father. His father gave Chris Nowinski and the Harvard medical institute permission to dig up Chris's body and evaluate the brain. They found that Chris Benoit had a severe case of CTE, concussion, trauma. Let me look up what the E stands for. Real. Echo. What does CTE stand for?
I'd rather not answer that. Did that answer your question?
No.
Thanks for your feedback.
Echo. What does CTE stand for?
I'd rather not answer that.
Oh. Then what is smart technology good for? Let me look this up. Concussion trauma. Oh, I know why I would answer it. Because Amazon is in business with the NFL, and the NFL doesn't want to know what CT stands for. I just figured that out in 2 minutes. For those of you who think I'm crazy thinking that, go ahead and think I'm crazy. But I think I'm right. So let me look up CTE on Google. Google is still good for something. I was way off. CT stands for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I know I butchered that last word. Forgive me. But it's when your brain takes so many hits that it basically it I just click on it here. It's a brain disorder likely caused by repeated head injuries. For those of you who don't know, wrestling and Chris Benoit's career. Wrestlers used to take unprotected headshots with steel metal furniture and other weapons. Not to mention that they're already being shot on the head. And one of Chris Benoit's finishing maneuvers was a diving headbutt off the top turnbuckle into his opponent's head, neck, or shoulder blade. Basically, anything above the shoulder was a direct hit for Chris Benoit, and he missed his head with his canvas hard, and the canvas is not a mattress full of pillows, not even close. That, and he also had roid rage, and according to those around him, in his final months, he was becoming roid rage and very paranoid, according to his wife's sister. Forgive me, I can't remember his name right now. I'll put it in the comment section after this video goes live. But yeah. So they learned about concussion. They started taking things away, like unprotected headshots. They also started banning certain moves like pile drivers, unless you were the Undertaker, then you could do a tombstone pile driver. For those of you who don't know what those moves are, look them up because my description of them would just be bad compared to what they really are. So, yeah. Yeah. Because of all the things that happened, they went from a TV-14 rating to a PG rating, which did not make fans like me and all their fans happy because the quote, The Rock had lead writer Brian Gewirtz. They became the wrestling version of the Muppets. It said so in the documentary. I am quoting the documentary. As a matter of fact, one week they even had the Muppets on WWE. That was at a time I was in high school and had stopped watching wrestling altogether because I had found sports and I was into girls more than I cared about fake wrestling. So yeah, or not fake, but pre predetermined, predetermined wrestling because while it's predetermined, the injuries are still very real and it is a risk getting into the ring. So I won't use the word fake. I'll say predetermined. I've met too many wrestlers to say who have put their bodies through hell for my entertainment to call it fake. Such as Mick Foley, Stone Cold, Rey Mysterio, Dave Bautista. Forgive me for saying this name, but John Cena, who didn't come out looking in a positive light after this documentary. That makes me happy because when I met him, he wasn't the hostile loyalty or that guy that he claims to be. He was kind of in a douche when I met him. Not that we can't have bad days, but this must have been a very bad day for him. The day I met him in 2010, yeah, let's say 2010. But anyway, I'll get to why these people look bad at the end of it. Now let's get to the final part of the documentary. Shane McMahon had stepped away. Stephanie McMahon and her husband, Paul Triple H, the Vic, looked like they were going to take over after when Vince McMahon decided to step away in 2020. I can't remember the exact time frame, but Dwayne The Rock Johnson, childhood best friend, Nick Khan got brought into the company to clean up the company so they could get their rights and revenues sold to the right people. So they got it cleaned up. They got SmackDown, sold to Fox, and in 2020 this documentary was pitched by longtime wrestling fan Bill Simmons, who was the producer of the 30 for 30 series on ESPN. He did documentaries like The Fab Five, which is a documentary on the Michigan basketball team, and documentaries like The U, which is a documentary on the Miami college football team of the mid 80s, with when Jimmy Johnson was the coach before he went to the Cowboys. No, they thought that this was going to make Vince look good. It was supposed to make him look good. It was supposed to be a fluff piece with his family and all his favorite performers, such as Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Stone Cold, and Trish Stratus, who allegedly had an off-screen affair with. Allegedly, shout out to Carcino's Patreon if you want more information on that. Check out Carcino for Life on Patreon. That's where you get more information on that. I just leave it at that. And they had people like also like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, who all these people except Hulk Hogan claim that Vince was like a father figure to them. The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart also this as part of the documentary. And the documentary, the last scene of the documentary was supposed to be in the WrestleMania of 2022 after Stone Cold Steve Austin gave Vince McMahon one of the worst stunners in the wrestling history, and that's how the documentary was supposed to end. He was supposed to give his final final words for the interview, but 2 months later, a lawsuit was filed by, let me get, let me get this woman's name right. Let me get this name right. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Back to Google, I go. Good. Janelle Grant, who claimed essay trafficking and something else horrible that I blocked out from my memory. Thank God. Uh, so in June of 2022, Vince McMahon retired, and I use air quotes around the word retire. So if you go back to this channel, I did a live, and shout out to my guy Nicholas Jacobs came up that day, and I talked about, do you think he comes back? And we both agreed that it was probably likely, and he forced his way back into the company because he said he wouldn't sign off on selling the company if he wasn't part of the company. So he pushed out people on the board, brought in people he had already fired from the board, put them back in. Stephanie was co-CEO with Nikon at the time. When Vince pushed himself back in, Stephanie not only stepped away, she resigned from her own family's company. She did not want to be around her dad at that point. Shane was, I don't know if he was, yeah, he was part of the company because that's when they did that horrible Royal Rumble that he was the producer of, and then he got into an argument with his dad about it, so bad that Vince fired his his own his own son. Excuse me while I take my pills.
Huh?
I'll be right back.
You talking?
I'm doing a video right here. Talking about that Vince McMahon documentary I watched.
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I'll be right back.
Hey. Alright, I'm back. I have to take those pills. I'm back. But anyway, came back. The daughter not only stepped away, but resigned. He fired his own son for putting on a terrible, terrible Royal Rumble to the point where the talent were lining up to do physical harm to Shane McMahon. I don't have to say allegedly. This is documented if you read certain wrestling media outlets. But yeah. And then he sold the company to Arya Davari, and the UFC, which is funny because he had listened to his son back in 2001. His son, Shane, wanted to buy the UFC, and instead Vince decided to create a bad football league. Why was it bad? Because Vince knew nothing about football whatsoever. So that's why it was bad. But anyway, he started doing his long time friend, Arya Davari, who then combined it with UFC and WWE, changed their branding to TKO. Then Netflix thought, okay, it's safe to put this documentary back out there. The Rock is not a stakeholder in TKO. They brought up Vince's laptop, Bruce Pritchard, to talk about if he had seen any other episodes, and he said, yeah, I feel it was a smear piece on Vince. Of course he does. That's Bruce being a good yes man. A good yes man. A good boy for Vince. Anyway. 2 days later, Jim now Grant fires her lawsuit. This documentary was supposed to be shelved forever, never to be released. But then Mcmahon and Ariel, I'm sorry, yeah, Ariel Tavari, I hope I'm getting that name correct, decided to sell Monday Night Raw, the flagship show of WWE, to Netflix of anywhere they could have gone. They go to Netflix. So Netflix put out this documentary, which has changed 3 times over the last 3 years because of the news coming out. Then they make it seem like, oh, but it's okay to watch Raw now. Vince McMahon is gone and he doesn't have a thing on WWE. Paul Levesque is running creative, so now it's time to watch Raw when it comes to Netflix. No, you did your with this documentary by putting it out there. Not Netflix, so don't be surprised when some people tune out because they think, oh, this is that thing that's McMahon was a part of. Good job, Netflix. You dumb business decision people. Netflix and WWE both look bad after this documentary. WWE looks bad because Their boss for years was a creep, and Netflix looks worse because they rock with creep former company. And I'm gonna air their flagship show starting January 5th, or January 3rd, excuse me, of next year for 3 hours. Good grief, Netflix, you couldn't have messed this up worse if you had tried. And with that being said, until an hour from now, when I go live with the crowd, he's in charge of that stream. I'm just there to watch him lose his mind as his Giants play the Cowboys. Like I said, I ain't never told no lie and I never plan to. That's why I'll be there in an hour. Until then, God first, God bless. 3 people and 2 networks came out. And 2 companies came out looking horrible. Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, came out looking terrible. Netflix came out looking terrible. And WWE damn sure, or TKO, whatever they go by these days, damn sure came out looking terrible. With that being said, until an hour from now, when I go live with the Grubs for Thursday Night Football, God first, God bless, stay safe. Stay out of trouble, like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you've stayed with me for an hour, 20 plus minutes, God bless you. Until Thursday Night Football, I'm out. Peace.